Hello everyone, and welcome to the reduce function lecture. So reduce is another built-in function to Python that you're going to find is also really useful in conjunction with lambda expressions. And you'll notice that the format is really similar to map, except what it actually does is quite a bit different. So a lot of times students have difficulty understanding reduce, so go ahead and make sure you read the Jupyter Notebook before coming to this lecture while I'll break it down for you. Okay. So what does the function actually look like? So the function looks like this. It has a reduce statement, and then just like map, it takes in a function and a sequence. But instead of mapping the function to every single element in that sequence, it's going to continually apply that function to the sequence. So what does that actually look like? It's going to end up returning a single value. So let's go ahead and break down all the steps here. And I know it's a lot of text, but we'll go through it slowly. So if your sequence looks like this, let's say you have a list where it's S1, S2, S3, all the way to some Sn, then calling the reduce function sequence looks something like this. So you grab the first two elements of your sequence, S1 and S2, and then you apply the function. So it would look like func S1, S2. Then you have that result, which is just some single number or single value, and you have now a list that looks like this, function, that result of S1, S2, S3, so on, so on, so on. And so the next step in the function would to take your previous result, whatever the result of S1, S2 function would be, and then take that and apply it to function of that answer with S3. So then the list keeps building in and reducing the functions that build into each other. And it keeps continuing like that until one element is left. So that's a little hard to understand in words. Let's go ahead and see an example. So I have my list, LST, equal to 47, 11, 42, 13. And then I created a lambda expression that adds numbers together. So it takes in two inputs, x and y, and then returns a single value, x plus y. And here, reduce, I'm inputting this lambda expression, that function, and then I'm also passing this list. And so what is reduce doing here? Well, it takes the first two elements, just like S1, S2 in that last example we saw, 47 and 11, and it applies that function to it, and then you output 58 here. So 47 plus 11 is 58. So now it keeps going on throughout the list, and then the next sequence is going to be that result passed into the function along with the third element, 42. So it's going to do 42 plus 58, which is 100. Then it's going to take that result of these three and pass it along to this lambda expression with the fourth value, 13. So 100 plus 13 is 113. And then your output is just 113. So make sure you really understand what's going on here. You keep reducing the sequence until a single final value is obtained. All right, let's go ahead and look at another example by hopping over to the live code. All right, so we're at our live code, and what we're going to do is create a reduce function that finds the maximum of a sequence. So let's say I have a list, and let's just put in some random numbers in here. Okay. So I have this list with some random numbers in it. And what I want to do is find the maximum of the sequence using reduce. So I could just use max of the list, and that would return the max of the list. That's another built-in function. But in this case, we actually want to build that out ourselves using reduce. So how can we do that? Well, I'm going to create an expression called maxFind, and I'm actually going to make it as a lambda expression, not a function. It's going to take in two arguments, a and b, and it's going to return a if a is greater than b, else it returns b. So that's what maxFind looks like. And let's go ahead and make sure we really understand what's going on with that lambda expression by rewriting it as a normal function, just so we really make sure what's going on here. So as a normal function, maxFind would look like this, right? I take in two arguments, a and b, and I will say if a is greater than b, return a. Else return b. So that's what's going on here, and let's go ahead and make sure it works. maxFind say 12 versus 100, so it returns 100 here. So the reason I'm writing it as a lambda expression is just to have it in your mind that lambda expressions are used a lot with map, reduce, and filter. Okay, so remember I have my list of these random numbers, and what maxFind is going to do, if I reduce it, is find the maximum of that list. So maxFind and my list, and notice it found the maximum. So what is it actually doing? Well, it's taking these two numbers first and comparing them. It's going to say, okay, which one's greater, 34 or 23? Well, 34. Then it's going to compare 34 and 24. 34 still wins, and it's going to keep doing that until it finally reaches the max number. And then it's going to say, okay, well, 2333 is the max number, so return that. Compare that to 2, it's still the max. Compare that to 11, it's still the max. Well, then finally, return 2,333. And that's how we can find the max using reduce. So, just to reiterate, what reduce is doing is it's applying this function continuously throughout your sequence. And then it returns a single value as it keeps reducing the sequence further and further. All right. So go ahead and make sure you understand fully what this statement is saying here, how it's just reducing the function continually, the sequence continually, using whatever function you put into reduce. All right, so that's it for this lecture. You can go ahead and check out more examples by just Googling Python plus reduce, and there's more examples in the documentation of Python. Okay, thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next lecture.